Welcome to Hangin with Huey. I'd like to say a special shout out and thank you to Twin Bridge Sports, as well as StudioPlace for making this happen. I've wanted to have a podcast for a long time, so I'm very excited to get this show on the road. So today I have my guest, Ethan Anderson. I'm joined today with Ethan Anderson, who is my current teammate at Pepperdine University. He's a starting point guard there. He began his career at USC and graduated in 3 years. He made it to 2 NCAA tournaments, would have been 3 tournaments if it weren't for COVID. He then grad transferred to Wyoming, and then after Wyoming, came here to Pepperdine. He's from Carson, California, and is a Los Angeles background native. He's been an incredible help in my basketball journey, and I appreciate you, Ethan, for being on the show.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having me. This is great.
So you've grown up in LA. So what is the Los Angeles basketball culture?
Los Angeles basketball for me, man, it's been amazing. It's just been like a really good community of competition and a good balance of support. And so, I have a bunch of friends that were in my same class that I competed against, and then we just kind of became friends because basketball, I think, is a universal language that we all speak. And so I've got contacted by a bunch of pros, other pros putting me on other pros, just really getting me connected with basketball. Any questions I've ever had, anything I needed help with. I mean, this journey, like you just mentioned, all those schools, tournament appearances, there's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with. That's besides the glitz and glamour. And so I've been blessed to be able to be from Los Angeles and be able to connect with people that are going through the same thing and have already been through it. So it's been amazing.
Awesome. So Fairfax High School, what was that like? Just like all 4 years there. It's a local school in LA, big time basketball program. What was that journey like?
Yeah, I think Fairfax really started the true grind for me, really separating myself in the 8th grade and then really becoming a top player in the country at Fairfax because I lived in Carson, California, which was about 21 miles away from there. And so I had to wake up at 5 in the morning every day, drive to school, drive myself, catch a ride however I could my freshman year until I got my license. But I had to do that every day, then come home in the afternoon after practice. And so that really instilled a grind in me. And, my one focus was getting a scholarship then. And it wasn't a normal thing where I grew up playing at it. It wasn't like I saw my friends doing it. And so it was kind of a dream, but also a goal that I could see in the future. And so Fairfax really gave me that pedestal to really be able to get to a Division I school, let alone to the tournament and all that other stuff we'll get into later. But that really instilled a grind in me and really taught me what hard work was.
Yeah, awesome. So out of Fairfax, you committed to UNLV first, and then you decided to stay home at USC. What was your recruitment process like?
Yeah, and so thank God for LA basketball because I'm the first in my family to play college basketball, and so that recruiting process was crazy. I remember before they can contact me my sophomore year, I'd always be like, man, I'm not going to get a scholarship. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one. I don't know what's going to happen. And then the day that, it opens up for the coaches to be able to call you, I mean, a bunch of coaches called me, and it was the greatest feeling. I remember my first offer from Tulane.
Oh, awesome.
That was one of the big moments in my life, and I was so happy about that. But the recruiting process for me, it was somewhere where I just had to try to find a genuine connection with the coaches and trying to see where was the best place for me without really paying attention to the Power 5 and stuff like that. And so UNLV, I felt like at the time was a perfect fit for me with a coach I trusted.
Who was coaching there at the time?
It was Coach Marvin Menzies. And so he was a guy I built a relationship with. I went on some visits with him, and he really I feel like he had my best interests in mind. But like you said, USC happened to come up when the coach got unexpectedly fired. And so I had to adjust. I only had about 2 weeks to make that decision. And so, I chose to take on a greater challenge with USC, being a Power 5 school, and just not being as secure there. UNLV, I wasn't promised anything, but it just seemed like I would play a lot sooner. USC, I was told at first that I probably wouldn't be getting many minutes my freshman year. Probably have to wait my turn and stuff. And so, I don't know, something within me, God just led me there, and things worked out for the best.
Yeah. What was your relationship like with Coach Enfield and the rest of the coaching staff there?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't have much time to really develop that relationship, but I knew
Did they
Jason
recruit
Hart.
you before?
They didn't
No.
recruit me before, and so Jason Hart was the one that reached out to me, and he connected me with Coach Infield and the rest of the
Jay
staff,
Hart.
and I just went in, had a couple meetings with him,
Yeah.
went to dinner one time, and then I just kind of committed there, and it just felt like the right place to be.
Awesome. Yeah, and I can say like playing with you, I've learned about like the ins and outs, like how to win, what it takes to win. And you've been like one of the biggest helps, I think, in my basketball career, especially being a guy who's done it at the highest level, seen a lot of different things. You've experienced pretty much every type of situation, and I can see you love basketball. You love what it brings. So, like, what inspired your basketball journey? What made you be like, man, I want to play basketball? Like, what pivotal moments you think have shaped your journey in this space?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say my dad, my family mostly, but my dad, he's always been the perfect parent, I say, for my situation. Him and my mom, I can't remember a basketball game that they didn't attend, and so that's something that I'm really blessed to say, and not many have that. But my dad was always that dad that didn't take nonsense
Yeah.
when it came to me, and so he never let coaches take advantage of me or anybody, handlers, any of that stuff, and so he always spoke up. He always asked me what I wanted. He also let me weigh in on a lot of decisions on what travel team to play for, or what school I wanted to go to. But at the same time, he watched over me and knew that, okay, hey, I can't be playing at my local park anymore. Ethan's bigger than that, or he wants me to play against older kids. And so he really inspired me to, give my all to the game and introducing God into my life early. And as I looked around, I mean, I had a lot of friends that play basketball with me, and as I look here and sit here today, my main motivation is them. Not a lot of them got to be able to play at this level, whether something had happened or just not being had the opportunities that I had. And so that's something that really inspires me in the days that I maybe don't feel like working out or
Yeah.
something. I just look around and see the younger kids that look up to me from where I'm from, and people I play with that just, I know they pray every day to be in this situation.
Yeah.
And so that really inspires me, and seeing my mom's grind, her working in a cubicle for 20 years to provide, and then seeing my brother who played basketball first and didn't get to make it to this level, and him supporting me. And so I just feel like me being that first college athlete in my family to play basketball has just been great, and they all inspired me just by the support that they've given me.
That's awesome. Well, Ethan is known as the mayor in Los Angeles. He's very well known. Everybody knows him. What's it like kind of being like that big figure and kind of a role model in LA? Because I mean, you want to talk about like kind of a basketball mecca. I'd say Southern California in itself. I'm from the Bay Area, so it's the Bay versus the world. But I know SoCal has a ton of different pros. So what's it like kind of being one of those big figures
Yeah,
and
that's
giving
the
back
thing.
to like the community and kids?
Yeah, coming up and in LA, it's so many people ahead of me and so many mogul figures in LA that I never really noticed when people kind of know me like that, because it's like you have your James Harden, your Russell Westbrook, and then people don't realize there's hundreds of pros that play overseas and all that from LA. And so me, I just try to give knowledge that wasn't given to me coming up, and I don't like just telling kids oh, it's gonna be great and college comes with this, this, and this, NIL, whatever it may be. I like to tell kids, how to deal with the adversity, because I think the biggest thing that's allowed me to help people is the adversity I've went through. I've been to tournament appearances, but it's a lot that it takes to get there
Yeah.
day to day, and a lot it takes to be a part of a team that's in the tournament, because I wasn't the star player on those teams. I was the point guard. I had a role to play, and I played that role. And so I like to give that knowledge mainly, but the kids that ask me stuff, and it's just been great to be able to be looked up to and have kids really genuinely respect me and respect my game. And it always feels great to know that people respected your craft and all the hours I put in this game, and the naysayers and the scouts that didn't like my game in high school, but it ended up working out for me. But yeah, being that figure, it really just is a blessing for me, and I just love helping people and giving people an edge. And people don't realize this game is, once you put the work in, it's about 90% mental. And
Yeah,
so
that is facts.
I love just being able to share that knowledge with people and really teach them that, the limitations are the only ones you have, the ones you put on yourself. And so being that figure, I'm always looking to give out knowledge and just teach people about, what comes with this game.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I want to dive into those NCAA tournament runs. I mean, teams at USC were great. I mean, nationally, top 5 in the country. You've been able to play against some very elite, talented players. We've talked about it before, but I kind of want to get into that. So during your 3 years there, you made it twice, but basically 3 times because it got canceled your freshman year. But what were those groups like? Like what was like daily life like around campus and like in practice around those group of guys? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, coming in my freshman year, I had no idea what to expect coming to USC. Went on a visit, but I didn't even meet any of the players prior. I just kind of knew, like, the freshman class, Isaiah Mobley, Max, Big O. I knew them a little bit from competing against them, but I didn't really have a great relationship with anybody yet. And so coming in, I felt like my life was on the line. You've heard me say that in other games. Like, I just came into practice like, you know what, I'm just going to compete. Like, my offensive game wasn't developed yet. I didn't really know. I just kind of knew how to score the ball a little bit and just knew how to play the right way. And so the biggest thing for me that surprised me, that I tell people all the time, is the way I got on the floor and started every game my freshman year was simply playing the right way.
Yeah.
I didn't shoot step back threes. I wasn't, going for 30 or anything like that. I just ran the offense, took my open shots, drove to the basket when I needed to, and just found the open man. And so those practices, they're very competitive. Every time I've played against, in practice, have been the toughest times at those Power Fives because everybody on your team is a 5-star. Everybody on your team is average 30. Everybody has had hundreds of offers. And so me being I think I was the lowest ranked recruit that they had in our class. And so I just took that personally, and I every day just tried to get better. Didn't really pay attention to the future. I didn't pay attention to the mistakes and stuff like that. And that's credit to the staff, Jason Hart, Coach Capco, Coach Mobley. I had a lot of great dudes around me, just being able to keep me level-headed and really being able to handle being a starting point guard as a freshman. And shout out to the seniors on that team. They're all pros now too, and I was interested in how they put their trust in me as a freshman, and every game was new for me. Every big crowd was new, every situation was new, the tournament was new, everything was really new for me. And so all those big games, they put their trust in me, and I was able to thankfully execute for them. But just dealing with that day to day, and college, going to class all day. I still don't even know how I did it back then, just being able to handle all that new stuff and succeed in the classroom and all that stuff. And so, I mean, those tournament runs, something I'll never forget, and just never forget how talented and how professional my teammates were. The Mobleys, Big O. Big O was one of my favorite people to ever play with, just because him and the Mobleys, they were unselfish. All the seniors were unselfish. We all just, played as a team, and we weren't perfect. We lost games, especially my freshman year. We lost games. We ended up finishing probably top 3 in the Pac-12, but we lost games. We dropped 2 in a row. We went 4 in a row. Like, it was ups and downs. And as a freshman, I'm just learning on the fly. And so it was incredible just to see myself grow and to really watch people around me really trust in me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been fortunate enough. Shout out to Pooh. You know Pooh pretty well. Like, that's your big bro, one of my big bros. I was fortunate enough to go to like those Rico Hines runs this summer. I got to go to one and kind of watch like how it all went down, and I saw like your impact and kind of what you brought playing with guys like that. What do those type of things mean to you? And to kind of go into that, like, I mean, there was many pros in there, even when it wasn't even fully off season yet. So, like, who are some of the best players you've played against or like played with? Like, what do you think separates like that level? Because there's levels to this game.
Yeah, absolutely. When going to those Rico Hines runs, and I've played a couple of those runs now. This will probably be my 3rd year coming up playing in those. And the first time I went there, a bunch of pros, and I had played in the tournament at that point. And so one thing I prided myself on is just knowing that everybody laces their shoes the same, and so everyone makes mistakes. And so I was trusted to go out there, and they put me on a team with pros. And I was already used to at USC playing a role. I wasn't coming out looking to just shoot the ball a bunch of times, and so that's why I think I was able to get into those runs and really play with those guys. But people that surprised me most was Lou Williams. He wasn't big at all. He was smaller than me almost, but he was just able to master the game at a level that I'd never seen at that time. Fred VanVleet, Siakam was incredible. I played against Draymond in those runs.
Yeah.
He was incredible. His impact on the floor was second to none, and a bunch of other guys in between that. But those are the dudes that really surprised me on their level and able to just execute. Kevin Punter, he's in the Euro League. Those dudes are just able to. That's when I really saw what the game was mental. Ben McLemore, they came in, they didn't stretch or anything. They just got on the court and they were able to, do what they do. And so that's when I really realized that this game is clockwork. It's once you put your work in, you find your routine every day that you get to, and you just come out there and perform. It's not a matter of guessing. It's not a matter of, will shots fall today or will they not? That's not what those guys really worry about. And it just becomes a level you just execute, getting to your spots and shooting your shots and trusting that the work that you put in. And I was fortunate enough to play against Kyrie this summer also. Was able to pick his brain a little bit. And so, I just really, one thing I learned as a freshman at USC is to be a sponge, even without asking questions. Like I wouldn't even need to ask Kyrie questions. I just look at the way he plays. I look at the way he passes and look at the way he gets to his spot. And so I would just watch all that stuff. And my game now is a result of me adding stuff from everybody's game that I've played with. I became a good post-up player because I saw Dan Utome in my freshman year. He would score 8 straight off the block. And he wasn't a big man. He was like a guard. And so I just take pieces of everybody's game that I've played with, and I've been able to coexist in those environments because I just play a role, not because I'm doing anything incredible or anything like that. I'm just keeping the flow of the game. And I think that's one of the biggest talents in basketball that people take for granted is the ability for a player to just coexist with other good players.
No, facts.
It's easy to go to your high school and average 30 when the game's catered to you, but can you coexist and just keep the flow of the game, make open shots when you're playing with dudes that are all millionaires and I'm in college and I'm just, they're having fun with the game and they're doing this for their job. So that's just one thing that I always preach, that your trainers are great and work on your game and all that, but you also have to have an IQ of the game to be able to exist in those situations.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I know me growing up, I didn't really have a trainer up until probably high school. I just play pickup with the older guys, and I think that type of stuff translates. I know a lot of kids now like to train, but like you said, you grew up playing at the park, right? Like I grew up playing at the park or at the Y, Boys and Girls Club, and those type of environments, especially playing with dudes that are older than you, it's similar to playing, like you said, coexisting with people because they're not going to pick you if you won't win. I think that's interesting. And then cool Kyrie story. I mean, you saw him in the gym this summer. I watched him for 2 days, 2 of his workouts, and the first day he was just shooting, wasn't missing, of course. And then the second day, he has his tribe, Tribe Gila, and they all came in, and they were just playing 21 for probably 2.5 hours, and he was just what did he say? Coach Romar asked him, he was why 21? He said, this is what I work, this is what's gonna happen to me, come late in the game, I'm gonna get double team, triple team, I'm gonna see different reads. And that speaks to his creative part in his brain. Almost basketball is an art form to him. I know you said you guarded him. What was guarding him like?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, at that level, it's really, you hear on TV all the time, you hear coaches talk about it, how, you can't stop them, but you can hope to contain them. I've really experienced that, and just seeing that when a dude mastered his game, mastered his style, which is why I'm a big fan of dudes creating their own style. Point guard like me in college, I started scoring a lot more points when I stopped trying to play like other people, but
play like you.
Play like me. Or if I got a small guard, I'm gonna post him up. If I got a big one, so he was just one of those guys that took whatever I gave him. And, I'm pretty strong, and I never really played against a guard that was able to move me around. And so Kyrie was really able to get to his spots on me. He's unstoppable from an aspect, especially if you're his height, because you can't contest it.
Facts.
And so he's used to, you could tell he's used to being guarded by 6'8", 6'9" guys. But Kyrie, he's one of those guys that I left the gym inspired, left the gym, just thinking that, oh wow, man, I mean, this game is a game you got to put time into. You can't expect to be, like an NBA pro in a couple of years working on your game. You could tell he'd been playing. It felt like he'd been playing the game for hundreds of years. Just being able to see every coverage, see every way someone's guarding him, and stuff like that. And so I just took all that in, and like I said, be a sponge.
That's awesome. Being a sponge is definitely important. Never stop asking questions. Talked about Draymond at Rico, and that kind of clip of him talking at the end blew up. Well, like what was he saying? Like what did that mean?
He was talking about finding your niche and really being one of those players. Thing that surprises me, like, a lot of people just look on social media, oh, Draymond's not a good basketball player. He don't shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He came to those Rico Hines runs. He might hit 5, 6 threes, dribbling, crossing people over, getting buckets. Like, those guys are really good. Like, they're really good at basketball. Draymond is a
Shout out Draymond.
player. He's in the NBA for a reason.
For sure.
Won championships for a reason. And so he was just telling guys, find your niche, find where you can affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Suns aren't looking for another KD. They're not going to draft somebody that, oh man, let's get a guy that plays like KD. They're not looking for that. They're looking for guys that can, like Patrick Beverley's. You're looking for guys that can just play defense, that can hit an open shot. And so Draymond really expressed that he had to find his way in the NBA, and it wasn't going to be scoring 30. And so he's made generational wealth for his family off of this, rebounding, playing hard, and knowing the game and coexisting with two of the greatest shooters ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so appreciate you. Kind of want to talk a little bit football. We be playing Madden. And I know you're a Ravens fan, and Ravens look good right now. So how are you feeling about Flockham? How are you feeling about Lamar?
Yeah, I think Lamar, he should be the MVP, just because he's been doubted, he's been called running back, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But Mark Andrews just went down, but we're still finding a way to get wins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to win in the NFL, but Lamar Jackson, he's somebody, I don't even like watching football full games, but Lamar Jackson it's inspiring at any level, no matter if you play football, basketball, you work in an office, wherever it may be. Lamar Jackson is something that you want to see, and so that's my bet for the Super Bowl champions, the Ravens.
Yeah, so we get to go to Rod Wave tonight.
Sure.
Shout out Rod Wave. I love Rod. So that would be fun. And I know you just recently went to a Burna Boy concert. So, who's some of your favorite artists that you've been listening to?
Yeah, I really like to listen to these days. Like you said, Burna Boy is one of my top ones right now. I love his vibe, Rod Wave. J. Cole has been my favorite in terms of the GOAT conversation, just because I love the way his wordplay is. I love the way he raps. He doesn't quite drop enough music for me, but you can't deny Drake. Drake is Drake. He's love him or hate him.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT right now. I mean, he can put out any type of music he wants, any style, any genre, and he's able to sell out arenas. He just went on tour. The guy's amazing, and so I mean, my favorite right of all time is Drake, and then it's J. Cole. Also, I like No Cap. He's one of the guys that are underground a little bit right now, but tremendous wordplay. And I'm not a big rah-rah guy when it comes to my music. I like
facts, me too.
I like to just get good information in my head and really just catch the vibe, and so those are my favorite right now.
Cool. So yeah, just going back to high school a little bit. LA is a very intense kind of vibe when it comes to basketball, especially the city section. So what does those rivalries mean of like Westchester, Birmingham, like teams like that? Like what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean,
who's really the king of LA?
Well, Fairfax is the king of LA, but I have a winning record against Westchester. My senior year, we beat them 3 times in a row. We won a championship. Never been done before, or hadn't been done in at least 20 years. And so, those rivalries, those are huge games. Like at that time, man, I think I used to come to school in those days with my headphones in. I didn't talk to anybody.
Ready to go.
I just knew, I didn't say a word until the game started. I didn't say a word. And so that was kind of our team thing, that nobody talked to each other until the game was about to start. And, it's a lot riding on those games. You lose that game, you come back to your school the next day, you're going to hear about it, and everybody going to be asking why you lost and all that stuff. But yeah, for real, those games prepared me for like the UCLA versus USC games. And to me, they felt a little bit even more compact because it's in a high school gym and you can really hear the fans.
You can really hear them, yeah.
And so those games really, I mean, it showed you what you were made of, you know.
Yeah.
And me being one of the best guys on my team, you know, that taught me about scouting reports and how teams are going to scout you. And, you know, Westchester may double team me, they might deny me. And so I had to find a way to get the win for my team in those environments where it's physical, fouls aren't called if you're an away team, fans are yelling at you, and free throws, they're shaking the gym. And so those games really prepared me for, you know, any game I've played in college. I feel comfortable in those environments now because of those games and because of, you know, just knowing that those games, they carry so much weight, but at the same time, as a human, you have to know that they're just basketball games. And when I started approaching it as, you know, these games are games you want to win, but at the same time, you know, I do this every day. I work on my shot every day. I work out every day. And so I just came into those games with the mindset of no one can stop me, and I'm just going to, you know, get to my spots and do what it takes to win. And so, yeah, those games, there's nothing like a Westchester, Fairfax rivalry. There's so many pros on both sides that are household names. There's coaches that have been coaching there for 30 plus years that have coached people in the 80s and all the way up to my time. And so those rivalries were, you know, I'd do anything to go back to play on one of those one more time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to cap it off, man, you know, I was just added TLG. Shout out Gazer, man. So I know y'all been rocking for a minute now.
Yeah, TLG is it's my little group chat. You know, we got some guys like my friends I grew up with playing basketball with, and we all just, you know, kind of stuck together. We got a lot of big time names in there, a lot of big time guys in those group chats, you know, and we all just, you know, we play video games, Madden, 2K, all that stuff. We'll be streaming soon.
There we go.
Looking at all of that. We'll be
got some big plans.
Clothing lines, all that stuff we'll have for you guys. But yeah, just 2K in the park, I got my 3 against anybody in the world.
There we go. Oh man, well, appreciate you having you on today, Ethan. Just want to say thank you to Twin Bridge Sports and StudioPlace. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very blessed to now have a platform, have a podcast, and thank you, Ethan, for coming on the episode. So appreciate you having you on, and thank you guys. And until next time, we're hanging with Huey.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.